Yeah,
Ain't no half stepping. Ain't no half
Shabba
stepping with
ranks.
Marcus J. Big
I'm the
Rube.
boost. Sorry.
You finished?
Yeah, I'm done.
I mean, for real, he needs a new hobby or something.
You finished. Because you were doing the Shabba thing. So you want some more?
Shabba.
Okay. Ain't no half stepping. Marcus J. We're back for the next segment. This segment we like to call the Sports Roundup. And in this segment, we kind of get into kind of the hot stuff that's going around the league that don't have much to do with the National Basketball Association or whatever the dominant sport is at that particular time. Carlton Banks.
Yeah.
I looked at the news this morning, actually over the last couple of days, and I saw something that I thought might interest you. I figured you might go ahead and bring it to the people so we can discuss it.
Okay, well, right now the NFL has suspended 4 players due to the bounty gate. Well, right now those 4 players are contesting that suspension based on when the collective bargaining agreement was signed, saying Commissioner Goodell overstepped his boundaries. Are we talking sour grapes here, really? Dude, you did something that was wrong. You have to be punished by somebody. Okay, suppose it's not Roger Goodell. Who's going to punish you then? You think the team is going to go after you? Especially the players that are no longer on the New Orleans Saints right now. That's the big thing I got a problem with. How do you punish those people? The draft is over. You couldn't really draft to protect that player in case he did get suspended. So what? What are you saying?
I say that the teams themselves should uphold what Roger Goodell said. If it gets overturned, I think it's stupid. You did the crime, you do the time. It's that simple. Even Vilma, the U from the heart, you're done for a year, buddy.
Did his
Go
voice
do
just
something
change?
Yeah, he did. It did. Here's my thing. I mean, the whole suspension thing across every single sport, and even in real life, in real courts, you have the right to appeal. So,
Right.
So I understand where you're coming from, Big Rube. You did the crime, do the time, but it is part of their right to appeal. The only problem is the person that you're appealing to is the person that just suspended you. That's the way the National Football League.
No, they have an arbitrator.
Do they really?
They have an arbitrator. He just got fired by the MLB.
Oh, that guy that overturned
Yeah.
the suspension for, what's the guy's name? The
I-
baseball
the
guy?
Baseball, yeah.
Braun?
Ryan
Yeah.
Braun.
Ryan
Braun,
Braun,
yes.
who was the MVP last year, who tested positive for
he
steroids after.
got him out and they fired him.
They fired
They
him
fired him.
immediately. Now, it's not a job that I think I want to hold a lot of stock in getting a pension for.
Hope he's
because
getting paid.
I hope he's getting paid a lot on the front end because, I mean, depending on how this appeal goes for these folks, it's probably not going to work out for him.
Well, no, I don't think it's going to work out for him very well. I really want him to uphold it, but then again, you also have to go back and look at how the CBA was designed at the time. Will the NFL teams take action against these players? Ruben, I know you say you want them to do it, but
Heck
hey,
yeah. Especially the Saints. The Saints should be on the front line being like, dude, you ruined our name. You ruined our brand. A year. Done. You know what? If they didn't like him so much, they probably would have just cut him.
I hear what you're saying, Ruben, but the problem is this. Aren't you already hurting without Sean Payton?
And they upheld that. So why would you think they would overturn the other?
Sean Payton was under a different he's not under the same CBA.
And see, that's the problem with
Let it out. Relax,
they're the
release.
problem. That's the problem with some unions. It is used to keep the bad people bad, but it doesn't help the good people.
Mm-hmm.
And my issue with that is basically these guys messed up. They did something that was illegal, and now they're just going to end up possibly getting their jobs back. Slap on the hand. Are you kidding me? You almost feel like cussing right now because that's the. I mean, what do you tell your kids?
You can cuss. We got a tip jar for you.
No, you can't cuss.
No, I can't cuss.
I
But
don't
what
wanna
do you
get the
tell
tip
your
jar.
kids, man? Yeah, if you do the crime, you still get off. What kind of message is this sent? I mean, it's annoying to me, and it's bad enough it happens rampant in the NCAA. Now the NFL is gonna be like, nah, this ain't gonna happen. And Goodell puts his foot down, and then some dude off the street's gonna be like, nah, Goodell, you went a little too far. I'm erasing it. I'm cutting everything in half. And I'm just like, yeah, that dude's get fired again.
But
Right. Go ahead, Mark.
I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it because it's still a story that's kind of breaking. So we don't really have an end right now until the arbitrator makes his decision. But, I thought a year was a long time. But it was one of those things where I could take it or leave it. I did think it was a long time that he got a full year for it. But I'm not going to cry my beer when this dude's not playing and it's still week 15. You know what I mean? As far as the other guys, I do think maybe half the season, 4 games, those types of things. But the thing is, there are 4 guys that got suspended. And we know, just from common sense, Carlton Banks, that there were a lot more people than 4 guys who were in on this. Now, Jonathan Vilma, if I'm not mistaken, Big Road, he's the one that got the largest time frame, mostly because he put up a chunk of his own money. Am I correct in that assessment?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so Carlton Banks, the fact that he put up his money, his own personal money, does that affect? And aside from the actual time they got in arbitration, all that stuff, I'm asking you, Carlton Banks, you're the arbiter. The fact that he put up his own money, and I think it was $10K if I'm not mistaken, is 1 year too much? And you're the arbiter. Do you knock it down?
No, I don't bring it down. I let it stay where it is.
All right, now, if you were the one that was giving the penalty, would you have given him a full year or would you have given him less, knowing what you knew before he got that year?
He would have got a full year.
From you?
From me.
Before
anything else happened, he would have got a full year.
Big Road, we know how you feel on the subject.
Well, it's like this. If you put a hit out on somebody and that person kills somebody, but since you put out the hit, you're an accessory to murder.
That's true.
Now, if anything, Roger Goodell is saving this dude because let's just say his actions could have really hurt Brett Favre.
Right.
Why can't Brett Favre press charges, 1, and sue for damages, 2?
Right.
Now, if he does this probably keeps him away from all that.
Right. The only thing I'll say is this. As devil's advocate, and I want to make this the final point on this particular subject because we got a couple other things that I want to get to. Football is a violent sport. We watch football because we enjoy the violence. I mean, a lot of us like the technique, but real talk, when we see a safety catch, a wide receiver coming across the middle, Carlton Banks and I have watched many, many, many hours of football together. We jump out of our chair. I actually remember you and our big homie on the first game of the season 4 or 5 years ago. I can't remember the player.
Kansas City.
I can't remember the player, but I remember the guy basically, his career ended on the first game of the season. He took a shot.
Against the Jets when they hit each other?
No. It was a quarterback from Kansas City.
And they said the player hit him late, but he was going down.
About Trent Green?
Trent Green, that's who it was. Yeah. And I remember our big homie, Carlton Banks, and me sitting on my couch, and we watched the game, and the 3 of us were in near tears. No joke. All jokes aside, we were in near tears because it took at least 10 minutes or more for them to wake him up. Yeah. We thought he was dead.
I said he was dead.
We thought he was dead.
The man ain't moved.
He wasn't moving or nothing. You're right, it was Trent Green. So that's when it goes too far. That was a hit that I guess in hindsight we can wonder if it was a bounty. But my point is this. Football is a violent sport. Do you know anybody that's going to go a little bit harder for $10,000 when you make $20 million or you make $10 million or you make $5 million? I don't understand why it's something that I guess it was one of those things like if you put it out there, this is what you're doing, you got to punish it. Kind of like the baseball guy last week that we talked about, Cole Hamels, who hit the guy, and he said, I hit the guy, so I guess you got to suspend him.
Douchebag.
But if you go over and you hit somebody on the football field a little bit too aggressively, but you don't admit that you tried to hurt him, then you're not in trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe I'm having a little bit of difficulty making the point I'm trying to make, but what I'm saying is, what's the difference? It's already violent. So now because you put money on it, it's a little bit worse?
Well, no, it just makes it premeditated.
Okay.
Now, the biggest thing, and that's why Roger Goodell always finds our old boy from the Steelers. What's his name? James Harrison, all these money. Like, who did he hit last year? Colt McCoy.
But see,
in the head. Hit Colt McCoy in the head.
Right. Carlton Banks, last point on this. Let's move on.
Well, I'm we can go ahead and move on. I can come back to it later.
Big Rule, there was a Hall of Famer that you wanted to tell us about in
Most
the National
definitely.
Football League. Let's go ahead and talk about that.
My man, part of the posse, Art Monk,
Art
got
Monk.
inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame this
Oh,
weekend.
college football. Okay.
College football.
Hey. Stop hating.
I mean, it's not hating,
ain't
but
hating.
I mean, he's someone who I think should be in the National Football
He
League.
won't get in the NFL.
He should, though. I think he should. I mean,
Well, actually, he is a Hall of Fame.
so he's already in.
Yeah, he's already
okay.
Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Okay, good.
Which is funny because you think he would have been in College Football Hall of Fame before.
Right.
Yeah. But did you know that Art Monk started as a running back?
Really?
Started as a running back at Syracuse. Led him in receiving for 3 years.
Where did he go to college?
Syracuse.
Syracuse. Okay.
Yes. Led him 3 years. And then holds a school record for most receptions in the game for 14 in 1977. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Art Monk, the probably most important member of the posse in the 80s.
Why don't you tell people who the posse is? Because
The
no
posse.
one pays attention to that
Yeah,
team.
that's sad.
So tell the people who the posse
The
is.
posse was Art Monk, Gary Clark, and Sanders. I can't remember his first name.
Bob,
It's not Bob Sanders.
Reggie,
We talking about the Washington Redskins.
Watch your Redskins.
Fred.
Okay.
Douchebag.
Well, was Art Monk was he on the Joe Theismann Super Bowl team?
Yes, he won. He's won 3 Super Bowls. He won all 3 Super. He was there for all 3 Super Bowls that the
Wow.
Redskins won.
Okay. All
Yep.
right.